couple of weeks ago, Bishop Francis Karamari was here from Rwanda, and I had the privilege of having lunch with him at a little pizzeria in Sewickley, with him and a couple of other people. We talked about many things at lunch, and one of the things we talked about was culture, and a little bit about some of the culture of the tribes of Rwanda. And part of the culture that he comes from, or of some of the cultures in Rwanda, is this sort of notion of God who is very, very far away. And there is a veneration of the ancestors in that culture, largely because those ancestors are closer to God. God is so far away that we begin with the ancestors because the ancestors are closer to Him. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking as I was considering that, I was thinking about the gospel of Christmas, the reality that Paul says in Philippians that Jesus emptied himself, taking the form of a slave, and came among us. John says in his gospel, indeed, that the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen His glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. And I thought, what a message of transformation and hope, and a countercultural message of joy to a people who think that God is very far away, that God has actually made His home among us. This is the heart, indeed, of the Christmas gospel, this gospel that we often read on Christmas Eve in church. This first chapter of John is that God is among us. And while we don't have the same sense of ancestor veneration in our culture, very often a lot of us have a sense of God being very far away, feeling very distant to us, not close to us, not paying attention perhaps to our worries, our cares, and our concerns. And this is truly what the message that John speaks to us about Jesus in his first chapter. That God, the Word who was with God in the beginning, who was God, has made His dwelling among us. This is the great joy that we recognize every Christmas, that Jesus has come and been among us. It is my hope that for us and for all, that this Christmas would be a fantastic reminder, not just a reminder that we remember that God has come to us, that we actually know the presence of the living God come to us in Christ Jesus at this Christmas. May it be very merry and bright for you all.